you mentioned kind of the underlying objective here of what you're doing. And I think what, I don't know, to some extent what I'm doing, what I think a lot of people are, the people who say that they're trying to clean up mobility and transportation, we're working towards an objective that it isn't getting more EVs on the road. It's not at the same time maximizing ICE sales. We're attacking emissions.
Exactly.
And trying to clean up. So can you talk more kind of what that actually means of like what is the objective here, whether it's regulatory, technology, etc.?
I mean, honestly, okay, so there are two objectives, right? One is we have to meet the climate goals, right? Which is, and we can define it as 1.5 C or 2 C, but we have to make sure that the global warming is contained, right? That's period. And if that's the goal, we know there's a budget of how much CO2 we can add to the atmosphere before it becomes a runaway problem. And that budget is very small. And all the studies that I've seen so far indicate that no matter what, even if you go to 100% EVs and do many of the other things in other sectors, we are not going to meet it, right? We are not going to meet it, which means that there are other technologies such as renewable fuels, CO2 capture. I know these are not popular amongst people who like EVs only, but they have to be pursued, because at the end of the day, again, there is going to be CO2 in the atmosphere, which is going to be there for a long time. And what do you do with it? So again, but I'm jumping into solutions. The point is that yes, the goal is to reduce CO2. That is one, and the other is criteria pollutants. And there are a lot of recent studies which show that there is no minimum below which these do not impact human health. So for example, particle concentration, right? I mean, the US has a air quality standard, 12 microgram per meter cube. And then, every year or every few years, it is either kept the same or lowered and so on. But there are studies now coming out of Harvard which show that there is no minimum. Like, okay, if you reach 8, we are done, that's it. No, there is no. Even at a very small quantity, particulates do affect human health. So we have to make sure that we keep going down. So in that sense, I would say there is the objective is somewhat open-ended, that let's just keep cleaning there till we don't have particles and NOx and SOx in the air.